I never imagined that the person I trusted most would betray me in the darkest moment of my life. Part 1. I remember the day I found out like it was yesterday, even though it feels like a lifetime ago. We had been married for 7 years, built a life together with dreams of forever etched in every corner of our modest home. Lucas was my partner, my confidant, the man I thought I knew inside and out. But beneath his calm exterior was a secret that shattered my world completely. It all began when I was diagnosed with a serious illness. The kind of diagnosis that flips your whole universe upside down, forcing you to face your own mortality. I needed him more than ever, to be my rock, my support, my safe harbor. But the nights I lay awake scared and vulnerable, he was slipping away from me inch by painful inch. At first, I told myself it was just stress, that the pressure was getting to him too. But then I found the messages, the texts, the late-night calls, the hidden photos, proof that while I was fighting for my life, he was fighting for something else entirely, someone else. The woman wasn't just a fleeting distraction. She was a storm that tore through everything Lucas and I had built, and I was left alone in the wreckage, trying to gather the pieces of a life I thought was solid. But this story isn't just about heartbreak. It's about the fierce determination to rise from the ashes, about reclaiming my power when everything I held dear was taken away, about finding light in the deepest darkness. As I faced the betrayal, I realized something crucial. Survival isn't just about living. It's about thriving, even when the world tries to break you. Part 2. After the storm of discovery, everything changed. The house that once felt warm and full of laughter became cold and heavy with silence. I couldn't look at Lucas the same way anymore, not because I hated him, but because the man I loved had become a stranger. Every word he said felt like a lie waiting to be uncovered. Every smile a mask hiding pain I couldn't see. The hardest part was the quiet mornings, when the sun streamed through the windows and nothing seemed broken. But inside me, everything was splintered. I replayed the moments before I found out, searching for signs I'd missed. Had he been distant all along? Was it something I did or didn't do? My mind became a battlefield, with doubt and anger battling for control. Friends told me to leave, to walk away and never look back. Family urged me to forgive, to hold on to the man I married. But no advice could fix the storm raging inside me. I started therapy, a place where I could unravel my tangled emotions without judgment. There, I learned that betrayal cuts deeper than any physical wound. It's a loss of trust so profound it shakes your sense of self. But healing was possible. It required bravery, the kind that means facing the truth, feeling the pain fully, and choosing to rise anyway. Slowly, I rebuilt my life piece by piece. I rediscovered hobbies I'd abandoned, reconnected with old friends, and most importantly, learned to love myself again. Lucas and I tried to talk, really talk, about what had happened, but some wounds run too deep for words. One evening, standing in the quiet kitchen, I realized I was no longer the woman who'd found those texts on his phone. I was stronger, wiser, and ready to make decisions that honored my worth. The road wasn't easy. There were days when the grief felt unbearable, nights when loneliness threatened to swallow me whole. But with every step, I reclaimed a part of myself that betrayal had tried to steal. This story is not just about what I lost. It's about what I found in the ruins. The strength to say no to what destroys you, the courage to choose yourself, and the hope that even after the darkest night, dawn will come. Part 3. The days after I confronted Lucas felt like walking through a fog. The life we built together suddenly seemed fragile, like glass teetering on the edge of a table. Every conversation was laced with hesitation, words left unsaid, emotions held back like a dam about to burst. Lucas tried to explain. He said it started as a mistake, a moment of weakness. He spoke about feeling lost, disconnected from me, overwhelmed by work and stress. But none of his words could undo the damage or erase the image of them together, laughing, touching, sharing what I thought was ours alone. I remember the night I sat alone in our bedroom, the silence deafening. Our daughter was asleep in the next room, blissfully unaware of the chaos. I held a photo of the three of us, smiles frozen in time, and wondered how so much love could feel so broken. I wrestled with the idea of forgiveness. Could I forgive him? Did I want to? More than that, could I forgive myself for trusting so blindly, for ignoring the small signs, for not listening to my own intuition? Counseling became a lifeline. Lucas agreed to go with me, at least at first. We faced the rawest parts of our marriage, the unmet needs, the resentment that festered, the walls we built instead of bridges. It was painful, often unbearable, but slowly, cracks began to show in the ice between us. Yet healing was not just about rebuilding us. It was about healing me, learning to set boundaries, to reclaim my voice, and to find joy outside the confines of our broken marriage. I rediscovered passions I'd shelved, like painting and running, simple things that made me feel alive again. The hardest moment came when I realized that no matter what happened, my daughter's well-being would always be my priority. I wanted to shield her from the hurt, but also to teach her about strength, honesty, and self-respect. I began to write again, pouring my pain and hopes into words, a secret sanctuary where my heart could speak freely. Each page was a step toward freedom. This is a story of devastation, yes, but also of resilience, of a woman who lost everything she thought defined her, and found something more precious in return, herself. Part 4. As weeks turned into months, the house slowly changed. The sharp edges of betrayal dulled, but never disappeared. Lucas and I weren't the same people who had once vowed forever. We were broken pieces trying to fit together again, but some gaps were too wide to bridge completely. Our daughter became the center of my world. Watching her grow, laugh, and learn reminded me that life moves forward, whether you're ready or not. I wanted her to know strength wasn't about never falling, but about rising every time. Lucas and I continued therapy, sometimes separately, sometimes together. There were days filled with hope, and days when old wounds reopened, spilling doubt and anger. Forgiveness was a process, not a moment. It demanded honesty, patience, and courage from both of us. Outside the home, I started rebuilding my social life. Friends who had drifted away came back, offering support I hadn't realized I needed. I also discovered new communities, women who had faced betrayal and survived. Their stories were mirrors of my own pain and resilience. One evening, I stood in front of the mirror, looking at the woman staring back. I barely recognized her. Eyes tired but determined, shoulders squared despite the weight she carried. I realized that while the betrayal had broken my world, it hadn't destroyed me. Lucas and I made no promises about the future. We chose instead to focus on the present, the small moments, the honest conversations, and the commitment to be better for our daughter and ourselves. I learned that trust, once shattered, can be rebuilt, but it takes time, effort, and sometimes a willingness to let go of what you thought love was supposed to be. This is not just a story about betrayal. It's about survival, growth, and the quiet strength found in the aftermath of heartbreak. Part 5. The journey wasn't easy, and it still isn't. Some days the memories hit like storms, threatening to pull me under. But I've learned to breathe through the pain, to remind myself why I'm still standing. Lucas and I didn't get a perfect happily ever after. We got something more real, a fragile trust built on broken promises, honest apologies, and a shared commitment to change. We celebrate small victories now, a laugh without suspicion, a touch without hesitation, a conversation without anger. For me, healing meant reclaiming my voice. I stopped silencing my doubts and fears and started speaking my truth. I embraced the woman I was becoming, stronger, wiser, and fiercely protective of my own heart. Most of all, I learned that betrayal, while devastating, doesn't have to define you. It can be the dark soil where new life takes root. I'm not just surviving, I'm learning to live again, on my terms, with courage and with hope. This is my story, a story of heartbreak, survival, and the power of choosing yourself, no matter how hard the fall.